like a damn fool.
Hello and welcome to Sons of the Dragon, the Immortal Iron Fist podcast. My name is Connor McKenna.
I'm Rebecca Hart.
I'm Karl.
And we are all back.
Hooray!
And we are covering some good old Power Man and Iron Fist. So, in terms of Iron Fist views, drum roll, there is none.
There's a little bit.
Oh yeah, there should be comic related news, I should say.
Yes. He was in Man
There's
Without
no
Fear,
TV show.
issue 3.
And that Avengers 10 million BC or
That's
whatever.
coming up next week.
Okay, so we will probably do that, I guess.
Yeah, I think we should.
That's a whole issue about Iron Fist, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll do that, and I'll probably rant about Iron Fist getting constant retcons despite the fact that he doesn't have much material.
Set yourself up waiting for it.
Yeah, God. So many retcons. Every major run just has huge retcons, really, except for Ed Brisson's, I guess. But
yeah, I mean, that's what really stood out for it, wasn't it?
yeah, it didn't go, ooh, but there was a million Iron Fists, or wait, no, oh god. Anyway, so Power Man and Iron Fist number 55, that is the name of the day. That's what we're covering today. It's called Chaos at the Coliseum. It came out in February 1979. And so this is Ed Hannigan's last issue as a writer. He was co-plotting with Chris Claremont for a while, who left a couple of issues ago. And after this issue, we get on to Joe Duffy's run.
Nice.
So because I'll forget, you can get this in the Power Man and Iron Fist Epic Collection Volume 1, Heroes for Hire. I'm sure you can get it in Masterworks and Essentials for way higher prices as well. I've looked, are they just not doing Epic Collection 3 for this?
I don't know.
Because
no idea what's going on with
I haven't really kept up with the publication schedule for most things. There's been a lot of I've been mostly paying attention to DC stuff on what's being cancelled and what hasn't. I imagine they will eventually. And by the way, just as it's happening right now, if you hear a bell in the background, it's cat related. Sorry.
Okay.
He's found a toy. But yeah, I don't know. I hope so.
Because I got Volume 2 over a year ago. And because I was reading, I wanted to read through the whole run again in Epic Collections. And it just, do you think it's possible that since the shows are cancelled, they're not going to bother with?
No, I don't think so. I think if anything, they'll, I think they've got a release schedule for the comics that they'll stick to, I guess, for those big collections. And I don't know, maybe they will work up for whenever they want to use the characters again.
Yeah. Okay. Well, fingers crossed. So we have the cover. Let's start with the cover. We have Iron Fist and Power Man fighting goons in pink. Okay. What is it with... Quick, we got to come up with some henchmen, some goons, and they always give them a pink or purple color scheme.
I believe it's to do with the cost of inks in the 70s and 80s.
Wow.
In the same reason as that's why superhero costumes often are red and bad guys tend to be purple. I don't know. I read that somewhere once that, and it's also to do with it contrasts really well to green, I think, oranges and reds. So
okay.
It's something
I'll
to do with.
That.
It is apparently something to do with the cost of inks and the color wheel, taking the sort of opposite colors in. So I'm surprised I have an answer for you, but I kind of do. It is the same reason why so many of the superheroes have same color costumes. Power Man and Iron Fist actually quite stand out because theirs are unusual colors, and I think green's usually a baddie's color, as in Green Goblin, etc. But same difference on cost of inks. But it's nice because it means they are quite unusual in their colour.
I mean, Danny's rocking Australian colours, so
yeah,
green
that's
and
why
gold.
you like him, really.
Yeah. replace the dragon brand with a kangaroo brand, and we're set.
Who knows?
So-
Maybe that will be the new origin of Iron Fist.
Oh, I'm sure Australia
You could retcon it
will
easily.
finally get love in the superhero department. Because, do you know what? We have, like, no one. We have the Tasmanian Devil.
You have like what's his name? The teleport.
Boomerang?
No, the
Yeah,
mutant
the gate,
guy. No, the mutant
Gateway?
guy. No.
What's his name? Okay. The Aboriginal guy?
Yes.
Who,
Yes, that's Gateway from the X-Men.
Oh,
Yeah, okay.
is it Gateway his name? Yeah, him.
he is actually cool.
He
I'll
is
give you that.
super cool.
He's like the only cool Australian character.
Did you
Because
know
we have, like,
for
Boomerang.
Into the Spider-Verse there was almost an Australian Spider-Man?
Yeah, you were telling me about
I
that.
think I told you, yeah, they were going to make a little joke with him when he first came through the portal, that he was 24 hours ahead of everyone, and then they'd have the clock, and then he'd disappear, and then they'd have the clock run down for 24 hours, which is actually a really good joke, but apparently they thought about it too late to really put him in, so he
Yeah.
might appear in a future one. That'd be cute.
Just I always like I don't have a legitimate problem with it. It's just a little bit of an annoyance. Like there's so many, like America is just a nexus for superheroes.
Yeah,
and
but
then you
it's,
compare it to the rest of the world. And
I
it's
think
like,
a lot
know
of it
why.
is, well, of course, it's just where the creators are from, and
Yeah.
that's why you have so many British ones. Is because there's so many British creators out there. Of course, they're gonna shop in like
And it
Jessica
adds-
Drews and things like that.
It adds authenticity because you don't want someone writing about somewhere they've like.
There's
if you have, like,
there's a
local-
lot of
they'll wanna
mistakes
write
when
about-
they do,
yeah.
but like people like creating characters. It's when they get a chance to, and hopefully, I mean, now there are some really prominent Australian creators, so hopefully that won't be the case for too long.
Yeah,
Oh,
we'll get
Eva
some
Bell
iconic
was your latest, is Australian apparently.
Who?
Half Australian.
Is she?
Whatever that means.
Tempest. She was one of the more recent X-Men. Very cool.
Oh, okay.
So we have Gateway, Dingo, Kaboomerang.
Oh my lord.
dear.
Another character called Boomerang, another character called Boomerang,
This
Captain Boomerang,
creativity is just
Yeah.
astounding.
Look.
Betty Clawman, which looks to be a floating head, Owen Mercer, Tasmanian Devil, Bone Breaker, and the page won't load any further, so that's all I got.
I was reading a DC Comics thing called Invasion, and the first place they hit is Melbourne, and there's literally like one Australian superhero in DC, and he's not even like that powerful, so he just gets like taken out immediately. It's like, wow. Oh, that was a bad comic for Australians.
And if you watch the Spider-Man cartoon from the 80s, where they meet the X-Men, Wolverine is clearly Australian.
Really?
Yup.
Wow. Poor Canadian.
It's the X-Men movie where Spider-Man teams up with the X-Men and they go against the Juggernaut.
I've never heard of this.
And whoever
I've heard
voiced
of it.
Wolverine does a full-on Australian the whole
Don't
time.
they fight kangaroos in one episode of that?
Has nothing to
Probably.
do with the TV show. This was a
Oh.
self-standing movie. It was an
Oh.
hour and a half.
Too random for me.
And he literally even uses his claws to make a shish kebab and says throw a few shrimp on the Barbie line or some crap like that. I can't remember.
Wow.
So
I
not
don't
at all
know.
stereotyped is what we're saying.
For the record,
Oh.
I don't know anyone who cooks shrimp on a barbecue. I'm just saying. Like, it's still one of the best lines in Dumb and Dumber, but I don't actually know anyone who cooks shrimp on the barbie. So, but yeah, way back, a big loop to the cover.
Back to the cover.
Yes, Luke Cage is on the Fantastica, fighting. Yeah, they're just fighting goons, and it's a cool it's a decent cover. It looks more like an interior page than a cover, but yeah. So I'll just read out the really quick thing at the top. Luke Cage, Child of the Streets. Daniel Rand, a son of the mystic city of Kunlun. Two men from different worlds, both reborn with strength and power beyond belief. And together, no one can stop them. Power Man and Iron Fist. Chaos at the Coliseum. Or, what list prize victory? Who came up with that?
Yeah, that's terrible,
what list
though.
prize victory?
What list prize victory?
I'll stick with Chaos at the Coliseum. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, list price would be like the normal retail for a car, and it's kind of...
I know, but it doesn't trip off your tongue.
Oh, I know.
Bad, yeah. So, they're essentially in this big, like, there's like a huge car show on in this place, and Luke Cage has been hired by one of the auto companies to advertise cars, and they're all having this crazy gimmick to sell their cars, and Luke is just, lifting this big car up and down. Borman Motors, that's who's hiring him. So we have Ed Hannigan, the writer, Lee Elias, the penciler, Jim Mooney, the inker, Diane Albers, the letterer, Ben Shawn, the colorist, Alan Milgrom, editor, and Jim Shooter, editor-in-chief. Yeah, so, Luke is obviously not happy doing his thing, but he is putting on a smile for the crowd.
Yes.
And he's signing the kids' autographs, and he points out, so they reel in with the parents with the car, and the kids are reeled in with Power Man.
Because he's been learning about business, so he's appreciating it.
They have old Jerry Hogarth.
Yeah.
Male,
oh my God,
middle-aged
I just saw
Jerry
Danny's
Hogarth.
suits.
Yeah, Danny...
I'm very distracted by his Miami Vice look.
Yeah, and it's funny because they do go like full on Miami Vice later on.
Yeah.
Which is...
Oh, it's cute though. He asked Luke for his autograph.
Yeah. Yeah, and then there's this weird duck guy.
Yeah, weird.
Yeah, so there's like another gimmick is like this duck comedian sort of thing. Like I'm not even
a big
guy in a
American
duck suit.
football mascot.
Yeah, like a mascot. Thing, yeah. And Luke points out his it's not all bad because his favorite section is custom and exotic cars. So Luke's into cars, I guess.
He must be.
Yeah. I mean, custom and exotic cars are always interesting, and the Fantastic car is in that section. And Luke Cage mentions, he drove that with his stint in the Fantastic Four, which we all remember from Fantastic Four's 168 to 170. Thank you, Al. Yes. So, this, and then we have another
gimmick
from another company, another gimmick. They're bringing out. Okay, so this tiger's been grown to think he's a human.
It's so
he's
wrong.
Like it's so weird and wrong, and like the tiger's face looks really weird.
Yeah.
As well, and Taggy the Taggart Tiger is the. Yeah, but no, this is not going to turn into a story about animal cruelty.
No.
It just turns out the tiger is actually okay. Spoiler. I mean, this whole podcast spoilers. The tiger breaks free because why else would they bring out a tiger in a comic book?
Right, exactly.
And Luke Cage tries to punch it out, but he only gets a glancing blow, so the tiger keeps going, and Danny pounces on it. He has no time to worry about his secret identity, so he puts the tiger in this like sort of
chest
headlock
lock.
hug thing. Yeah,
because they don't want to look like he's strangling a tiger.
And then Luke gives it a good whack in the face. I'm assuming the tiger is not permanently damaged. And the tiger's trainer comes out and he's like, even if he wasn't chained up, he wouldn't have attacked anyone.
Oh, you ain't that Kazar fella, are you? Bless.
And there's a tiny dart that made the tiger go wild. And yeah, what you just said, Rebecca, I love that line.
That they actually know of Kazar. It's pretty cool.
Is that how you pronounce it, Kazar?
That's how I pronounce it.
I always thought of it as Kazar, but I could be wrong.
Maybe.
Carl, you're the American.
Yeah, you're the American. Tell us how you would pronounce it.
What do I pronounce it?
Kazar.
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 Kate, really?
It's pronounced Kazar in the United States.
Oh. Man, that's way lamer than Kazar. Kazar sounds like a jungle name. Kazar is like... I don't know.
You know,
Khazar
but
sounds like some ruler in Africa.
there was a
Exactly.
there was some
Khazar.
comic
my.
writer this week joking about wanting to write. They were talking about worst pictures, and he said his one was Khazar and Khazar join up together in a team up, and no one can say their names right. And I've probably now just mispronounced them manically, and I can't remember who said it, but it made me laugh a lot.
I have no doubt that would be a better book than some on the shelf right now.
It would be hilarious because you've got one like
Yeah.
super powered space, like cosmic one, and then like
The Buddy Cop book. Speaking of, make sure you guys pick up your Phantom Limb copies so we can get more Iron Fist ongoings. Yes.
And that's the digital miniseries, not the villain from the Venture Brothers.
Yes, and if you don't get it, no.
Then it's all your fault if we never see him again.
Yeah, but if we don't see him for a while, we got plenty of issues here to talk about. So, and it's nice to sometimes not have to be attached to current going-ons, and go back to a simpler pink time. 1979. That was not meant to rhyme, by the way. That was like 3 rhymes in one. I'm crazy good. Anyway, enough of my rapping. Tiger is subdued, and apparently the cop comes up and says there was a strange costumed man on another floor of the show. So it looks like it might be a diversion. But
yes. Either
way, they don't seem to go... they do check it out, but it's off panel, because they're talking to... Okay, so how do you... Jan? I'm sure we've gone through this before. Let's just call him Hogarth.
Yeah.
I don't know how to pronounce his first name.
I say Jaren, but I don't know.
Jaren.
Yeah. Okay, so Jaren. They're meeting up with Jaren, and they say they didn't find any crook in a colourful costume, and there was no attempt made to steal the box office receipts. So, yeah. But Jaren is there to discuss a business proposal. So Powerman's made a big hit with the people at Borman Motors. And the overseas rivals, Hero Motors, are jealous, so they want to hire out Danny. And Danny's like, great!
Because he's somewhat oriental.
Yeah.
Which is obviously, like, not even worth going into, because everyone knows it's wrong. So.
Yeah, exactly. It's just, there's no word, It's a 70s wrong moment.
Yes. Ed Hannigan, shame. No, it's fine. I'm sure you've redeemed yourself in the past 30 years. So Danny's hired by these guys, and so, like, they
basically say they've got a bet, like, who'll sell most cars, Luke or Danny.
And either way, they're the ones who are going to be profiting because they're both working together. So, because they are heroes for hire now. So I guess this isn't their first official gig together, but they're in the same place doing a gig. So whatever.
The bet is actually the managers at the bar, not Luke and Danny.
Yeah. Oh, I might have misconstrued the events, but check out Luke's eyes in this panel.
Yeah.
I know, it's so weird.
I'm taking crazy pills. So night falls, and Danny and Luke are acting as essentially night watchmen at the museum. They're backing up the actual guards. Just see if anyone's going to plan anything. I mean, I guess we haven't talked about the art much. It's serviceable. It's like...
It's just
nothing,
there's nothing
spectacular,
but nothing awful about it either.
Yeah, no.
Luke's eyes are a bit funny, but nothing really stands out either way.
Did a slew of comics for Marvel.
Oh, really?
The cars are very good.
Did a lot of work.
Well, give them that. Like, the Buick looks like a Buick and has the logo
right. Yeah, definitely.
There's definitely some nice work on the cars. The rest is all just buildings, and so far, anyway. Fantastic car looks good too.
And Danny's mask goes from pure whites to seeing his eyes. So, just pointing that out because it always happens. What do you guys prefer? We probably talked about this before, but do you guys prefer if he has just whites where his eyes are supposed to be, or do you prefer if you see his eyes, like,
I think it kind of makes sense when you have a close-up. You actually see his eyes in the holes, and when it's a far-away shot, it just looks white.
Yeah, maybe like
I
there's
think
some
that
sort of
makes more
gauze there
sense.
Yeah, fair
to
enough.
protect his. I don't know. I think I quite like the white, whether it makes sense or not. But I think that maybe I'm used to reading Spider-Man, so
Yeah.
Well,
Honestly, I prefer the white, but
it makes more sense to see his eyes. But whatever.
I am going to be contrarian and say I prefer his eyes, but
That's because you like looking
whatever.
at his beautiful eyes.
Yes.
but Danny notices that the Fantastic car is missing, and Luke tells him, "Nah, the thing just shows up every night and takes it home." Because
Which I
Reed
like.
Richards is more paranoid than you are about it getting ripped off.
And I'm surprised they let it be there in the first place without the thing being there watching over it.
Yeah, me too.
In fact,
It seems a bit strange.
That could be a Fantastic Four comic where their car gets stolen and the thing chases. He's like, "Oh, clubber you guys."
But it was the thing where it got stolen, and the person who stole it was Luke Cage. There's a little bit of history for you. He steals it to go to Doctor Doom to.
Oh yeah, to give him his
money
20,
back.
to give his money.
You owe me $20.
that classic. I love that. Yeah. Doom is I don't
amazing.
know. I go and stop Doom. I think he's cool, but he's I don't know. His
Now, what is Doom now?
What do you mean? What is Doom now?
Well, he went from scientist to cyborg, Cenobite craziness to making a wish or something where instead of he invested his life into science, he invested it into magic, and then he became more powerful than Doctor Strange. I can't even keep up with. I don't know what he's at now. What does he do?
I thought he was like a sorcerer and a tech person. I thought that was his whole thing.
I think now. He's definitely got a bit of both. He is back ruling Latveria right now, and was in the most recent issue of Fantastic Four.
Is he healed? Is he still scarred?
He healed after Secret Wars, but he has a different scar. But don't think it's as bad. But he's wearing the faceplate, so he's wearing the faceplate again.
Now, remember there was a thing, I'm getting mixed up, but I'm pretty sure Jack Kirby wanted to draw him just this like minuscule scar on his face, but he was so insecure that he put like this whole metal plate on his face and was convinced that he was horribly disfigured. I guess that's not the case though.
I think the latest, I don't really remember, the latest scarring happened in Marvel 2-in-1, the current run, and it was a weird, like, they kind of had to get Doom back to a little bit where he was, not fully, but I don't know if we've seen the scar up close or we just know he's been scarred again. So I don't know how bad the new scar is, but for the period where he was unscarred, very pretty. And also there's a massive thing that hasn't been resolved from Infamous Iron Man yet, so we're waiting for that to happen, and that will be another little change for Doom perhaps if they go with it.
Is he secretly Tony's dad?
No. We know who Tony's dad is now.
It's me.
Oh, who? Spoiler alert, spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert, ex-SHIELD agent. Who was a Hydra plant.
Wait, Tony doesn't have a... Oh, whatever. Not even gonna get bothered.
Okay, like years ago, Tony was revealed to be adopted. Okay, so we're now talking about his biological dad. He still has all the money. Right. Howard Stark was still his dad. There was even an issue recently where he finds a whole letter that says I'm your dad. But in this comic, when Kieran Gillen was writing Iron Man, I don't even know what date that was, but we're talking like a number of years ago. It's called The Secret Origin of Tony Stark. It retcons Arno Stark to be something else and to be their biological son, and Tony to be their adopted son. It's going to be important because Arno Stark was Iron Man 2020 when he wasn't a relation of Tony, or was a very distant relation of Tony, and we are now, of course, coming up to 2020. So these things are all gonna be important, and Arno is in the current Iron Man run, and it's all looking to be pretty interesting if you happen to be a fan of Iron Man, as I am. But the status change that made him adopted was a huge deal, but it's been quite a while now, so meeting his biological parents wasn't as big a shock.
Okay.
Sorry to get off track again.
No, the more you know. I'm not gonna lie, my brain kind of glazed over at one point, but
Nah, you know.
Oh, well, I just lost track.
It's
but
how I
came
feel
back
about
around.
other things.
No, it's fine. It's just complicated, but not
Back
super.
to car
Like,
sales then, right?
I was just gonna say I read an Iron Fist, like about 12 Iron Fist issues at the start of our own, and then it turns out later on it all turned out to be fake.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. I think it was Ultimate Iron Man, which, you know, yeah, poor Ultimate Universe. I don't think it deserves what happened to it. And all
Really?
the characters. But,
Okay.
What happened to it? A couple characters breached over, and that was it, wasn't it?
Yeah, pretty much.
Never spoken of again.
No,
Didn't it blow up?
appeared in one of Bendis's last issues of something, with hints that it wasn't fully gone. So.
Okay, well that's not too bad.
But
then.
that's a Bendis, so who knows?
But yeah, Hero is a Japanese name, and they've decided to put on a kung fu display, which just makes no sense. So, yeah, we'll ignore that though. Danny's putting on a kung fu display with for Hero Motors, and Danny's just happy to promote the martial arts. But Danny is getting a foreboding sense of evil.
Dun dun dun.
His
And
spidey sense is tingling.
But he also comments that it's nice that he's earning a living instead of living off an inherited fortune.
Yeah. How long has he been back at this point anyway?
I don't know. Comic timelines are almost impossible to work out.
Yeah. I'm just going to assume it's like a couple of years.
Never age.
Yeah. I mean, he had his 33rd birthday in, Immortal Iron Fist. So he has aged, just very slowly. But, yeah, because he was 19 when he got out. So it's impressive that he's actually aged somewhat. We got superheroes here. Who's gonna... Whoa, these guys in pink and purple outfits have broken in. And, these guys break in. One of them punches Luke Cage in the chest while he's holding up a car. Yep. And the car lands on him, and he goes, "Ah!"
The woman sitting on the car goes,
"Yeah."
She goes bouncing off.
Yeah.
It's not as good as the woman's face in the bottom right-hand corner.
Yeah.
That's a pretty standard comics face, isn't it? Like...
I think that might be the same face they used for the tiger.
That's not nice.
No, just the tiger's face didn't look like a tiger.
So then
the Oven Mitt Men attack Iron Fist.
Yeah, these guys who look like they're made of oven mitts. And every time he hits them, there's like powder.
We're here to get your biscuits out of the oven, Iron Fist. No!
So yeah, there's this weird powder every time he hits them, and they're somewhat skilled martial artists because they're rolling with his punches and kicks, and so.
Then Bull shows up on a flatbed.
Yes, they drive in with this flatbed, and so while Danny's fighting these guys, this Bull guy is holding everyone hostage, and upstairs, Power Man's getting punched by these guys with the exoskeleton armor, and then then a guy with a flamethrower pops up behind him, and Luke takes him out straight away. And
first he makes sure to ruin Luke's shirt.
Yeah, part of Luke's shirt is ruined. I don't think it comes off though. But
no, I'm not sure.
This is another shirt that will have to be replaced.
Another ruined shirt, yeah.
Got a burnt shirt, quite the bun shot.
Yep.
So Danny is beating up these guys, and then one of them shoots a laser at him, and he's like, well, I can't dodge the laser forever, so he lights up his Iron Fist to take care of the laser. I'm not sure how that works, but anyway. So the powder that was coming out of their suits turns out to have been special explosive powder. So if Danny doesn't turn the Iron Fist off, he'll be blown to Kingdom Come. This obviously makes absolutely no sense, but
Yeah.
we'll just ignore that, because the amount of sense it doesn't make is staggering, and there's no point going into it. So,
and what are these powered and armored thieves out to get at the car show? None other than the Fantastic Car.
Yeah, so they're running off. They hop in, and since the guys on Danny's floor
Is it a boat? Who knows?
The guys on Danny's floor were cutting a hole through the ceiling, so the car has just come down and plonked onto the truck, and it's the perfect heist. Yes. I would like an Ocean's 11 style comic where we just see like the other point of view for this.
Yeah.
And just see their planning and attempts. I feel like it would be much more interesting as well. But yes, they start driving off with it. Luke grabs onto the back of the truck and starts pulling it back. Which is, you know, he's like, if you keep holding on to this truck, I'll just shoot all these civilians. So Luke has to let go. Danny jumps up, takes out the guy's gun, and then a guy sneaks up behind him and hits him with a wrench. So Danny goes tumbling off the thing, and Luke's like, Danny's ploy didn't work. It's like, well, he might be seriously hurt as well, but okay. So Luke jumps onto the truck, beats up the guys on the Fantastic Car because he knows how to pilot it. So he essentially jumps on the Fantastic Car and starts driving it around and tosses all the guys off.
Well, don't use that terminology ever again.
Tosses all the guys off?
It's fine, but it is funny too.
Okay, well, he throws all the guys off.
Okay.
There we go.
And he's chasing the truck with the Fantastic Car. It's a high-speed chase. And Luke knocks the truck into the river. Mm-hmm. And the police arrive so they can fish the guys out while Luke takes the Fantastic Car back to the car show. So Luke saves the day single-handedly. Good work, Danny. He didn't do anything.
Oh, he helped.
How? He didn't even stop the
road
from being... Okay, he gets the participation award.
But he did have special explosive power over his Iron Fist in his defense.
Yes, over his chi, which is not a scientific.
And nobody knows what the special explosive power is, but what powder is, whatever. Comics.
Yeah. So
one of the most interesting things here is the rather lame generic villain with the gun who was standing on the back of the flatbed named Bull was actually pulled from Tales of Suspense 59.
And yeah, from when he attacks the Avengers Mansion, which I have not read, but this is a guy that apparently exists and attacked the Avengers Mansion. So yeah. And so we get the last two panels. Hogarth is not happy because neither Danny or Luke's company sold the most cars. Turns out the weird duck guy, the duck mascot, did. And the duck mascot's like, hi guys, don't feel bad. Them's the breaks. Ouch. The end. Woohoo. Next, a new writer, a new artist, and a whole new direction for the Power Fist team.
Yeah, I think a new artist drew those last two panels. Look at how Luke looks, look at how Danny looks, and look at how Jern looks. Completely different. What, potato?
It's not the next artist.
He does look
that
a bit
did
of
it,
a
though.
potato.
The next artist is really good. So yeah, that was the issue.
Here's my question. Really, we couldn't get like the Fantastic Four on the last page? What the hell?
Yeah, they had the Fantastic Four, but I think that's good though. I don't think they needed the Fantastic Four to show up. Plus, maybe they're busy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think because Danny and Luke, they're street level. It's cool to see them sort of deal with like their car. I guess I don't know.
I want to know what amount of 70s or 60s drugs were used when designing the fantastic car. We'll make the front a boat. We'll give it the wings from a World War II bomber, and there's not enough places to sit. We'll just stick this thing in the back and put 2 holes in the center so they can bring other people to it.
I quite like the fantastic car, personally.
I do as well.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah. It's amazingly 60s, 70s in design. I love it.
Yeah. So that was the issue. What did you guys think of it?
It's fine. It's
definitely a filler issue, but it's funny.
I do appreciate them being out for hire and not as bodyguards. Like, for a change, I kind of like that, but and it's a fun issue, and they get some nice little interaction, but it is definitely a filler issue.
It's a filler issue. It's not boring, but like the bad guys are the definition of stock bad guys.
You know, it's not a real issue if Luke doesn't lose the whole shirt.
Well, so yeah, it was. I agree. It was a fun issue. I don't know. I've always found that issue quite fun for some reason. I think it's better than the last issue, even though the last issue had plot developments. I just think the Incinerator is the lamest person ever. So, yeah.
Yes.
Even though the last issue did have big groundbreaking moments for Iron Fist anyway. Oh, you mean you finally actually talked to Joy after all these years?
Yes.
You know, hashed out your problems like adults instead of crying and running off or being really vague or... But, yeah, so... Yeah, not much to say about that issue. Next we have a 3-part arc, though, with some Egyptian stuff. So, crazy things happening. New Joe Duffy and the new artist. That'll be good stuff to cover. We will be doing that soon. But next we'll probably do this Avengers issue, because it is Iron Fist related, and then we can talk about all sorts of Iron Fist retcons and lore, and it'll be good stuff. So... yeah, do you guys have anything to add?
No.
Yeah, not really much to talk about with this one. So, yeah, as usual, you guys should write in and stuff. Yeah, good times. Check out my... what Karl said. Check out my Superman podcast as well for more fun times.
Shameless plug.
Yeah, shameless plug indeed. I want more listeners, so I'm going to plug it. But yeah,
I listened to it just this morning.
Yay!
I've never listened.
Yeah, no, Karl hasn't, because he's like, that's
waiting for the
pretty much
Batman podcast.
Yeah. There's already Batman podcasts, right? There's like 3 of them.
Only
listen
3?
to Kevin Smith one, so you can hear him cry all the time.
Yeah.
While getting really high.
Yeah, it's okay.
Just so emotional, man. But yeah, actually, our next Superman podcast is a Batman crossover storyline. So is that for you really angry people out there. But yeah, well, until next time.
Stay away from the explosive powder.
Yeah, no, watch out for that powder and those guys dressed as oven mitts. Ooh.
Take care.
Yeah.
Peace. Iron Fist and all other characters in these comics are properties of Marvel and Disney. Any music or images we use belong to their respective copyright holders. We do this for fun, so please don't sue us. You can contact us at sonsofthedragonpodcast@gmail.com. Just send us mail, comments, thoughts, anything you want, really. It doesn't even have to be related to Iron Fist. If you don't want it read on the air, though, make sure you mention that. You can also find us on Facebook, the Immortal Iron Fist Podcast, Sons of the Dragon, our Twitter, at Iron Fist Podcast, our SoundCloud, soundcloud.com/Sons of the Dragon, hyphens where the spaces are, our YouTube, Connor Karl. Just search Iron Fist Podcast and you'll find us real quick. We are also on iTunes. If you find us there, give us a review and rate us. If it's less than 5 stars, please say why so we can improve the show. And we're on Podcast Garden in the literature section, and last but not least, head over to our WordPress, Sons of the Dragon, the Immortal Iron Fist Podcast.wordpress.com. That's where I put all the show notes. I'd like to thank Thomas Tissot for composing the Iron Fist theme song we use at the start of our Iron Fist episodes on the podcast. I'd also like to thank Peter John Sikorsky for composing the Power Man and Iron Fist theme we use at the start of our Power Man and Iron Fist episodes. And finally, thanks to you guys for listening.